The movie begins with our protagonist, Sarah, checking her body in the mirror and feeling insecure. She is obsessed with her dream of becoming a famous actress, but hasn't landed any promising opportunities. She currently works at a fast food restaurant to pay her bills. One evening, Sarah attends an important audition, but she has trouble remembering her lines. This results in a disappointing performance, and she is dismissed by the director. Disgusted with herself, Sarah retreats to the bathroom to vent her frustration. She then pulls her hair and starts screaming hysterically. Had she done that in the audition, she might have got the part. Surprisingly, the painful release manages to calm her down in an instant. Red flag. Later, while sipping tea and browsing her laptop, Sarah discovers an upcoming film titled The Silver Scream, which is looking for a lead actress. It is produced by a well-known company called Astraeus Pictures, so she applies right away. Afterward, when her roommate Tracy invites her to a party, Sarah reluctantly agrees to attend. At the gathering, she meets her friend Danny, who is an aspiring director. Then there's a girl named Erin, who appears to be jealous of Sarah. She humiliates her in front of everyone by claiming that she's bad at acting. Hearing this, Sarah is clearly upset, but she doesn't say anything in response. Soon, Sarah feels bored at the party and decides to leave. While she is outside, Danny approaches her and tries to apologize for Erin's behavior. Just then, she receives a message confirming her audition to The Silver Scream. This overjoys Sarah, and she quickly shares the news with her friends. While Tracy appears genuinely happy, Erin once again tries to humiliate her by making fun of the movie's name. She probably doesn't even understand that it's a pun. The scene then shifts to Sarah during the audition, where she struggles to remember her lines and begins stuttering. She attempts to read lines from the script, but the paper appears blank. She then notices blood dripping from her head, causing her to scream in terror. All of a sudden, she wakes up and realizes that it was just a nightmare. On the day of the audition, Sarah patiently waits for her turn among many girls. However, she gets scared when a girl who auditioned comes out of the room in tears. Sarah then walks into the audition room to find two people who seem cold and distant. She tries to introduce herself, but the casting director says there's no need and asks her to perform. Sarah starts reciting the lines and ends up giving a beautiful act, but despite her efforts, the casting director is unimpressed and asks her to leave, stating that they will contact her if necessary. Furious, Sarah storms out of there and heads straight to the bathroom. She then expresses her rage by hitting everything in sight and ripping out lots of her hair. After calming down, she exits and runs into the casting director's assistant, who is staring creepily at her. The woman seems to enjoy Sarah's outburst and invites her for another round of auditions. Back in the audition room, the assistant questions why she was pulling her hair, to which Sarah responds that it's something she does when she's upset. She is then asked to do it again, but Sarah is hesitant because it's a very vulnerable moment for her. However, she also doesn't want to miss this opportunity, so she eventually complies and throws herself to the floor. Sarah then screams uncontrollably and rips at her hair as if no one is watching. Unfortunately, this does not change the casting director's opinion. He once again asks her to leave, saying that they will contact her if necessary. The following day, Sarah is at work when she receives a call from Astraeus Pictures. She ignores her boss's orders and steps aside to answer the phone. Surprisingly, Sarah is informed that she's been selected for another round. This sends her over the moon, but when she gets back to her work, her boss is furious. He reprimands her for using her phone during work hours and not caring about her job, as if actors aren't the only people who work here. However, Sarah unexpectedly announces that she's quitting and walks out, leaving her boss stunned.
I'm going back to poverty, so fuck you!
In the evening, Sarah arrives for her audition, where she is led to a dark room. The casting director then informs her that she has to do a nude photo shoot, which shocks her. Sarah protests, stating that she wasn't informed about this beforehand, but thinking about her dreams again, she reluctantly agrees to do it. She then nervously begins removing her clothes and poses for the photo shoot. Sarah is hesitant at first, but the director asks her to completely let herself go. With this encouragement, she begins to pose freely and enters an ecstatic state while laughing and having fun. Following the photo shoot, the assistant compliments her and states that she's exactly what they need. Sarah then notices a pentagram-shaped locket around the lady's neck. In the evening, she receives a call from Astraeus Pictures, informing her that the movie producer wishes to meet her. This makes her overjoyed, and she begins to get ready. Sarah puts on makeup and dresses up in a stunning red dress. While she is leaving, her friends are taken aback and compliment her on how beautiful she is. Sarah informs them of her meeting with the producer and hopes that that she will be chosen. As usual, Erin comments that she looks a bit overdressed, but Sarah ignores her and walks away. Upon her arrival at the location, Sarah is taken to a big studio. She finally meets the producer, who turns out to be an old man. He kisses her hand and praises her beauty. "Look at the gams on you!" He then explains that countless girls have auditioned for their movies, but only a few have made it to this room. The old man expresses that Silver Scream is a special project for him, one in which he hopes to expose the ugly side of humanity. Following this, the old man offers her the lead role in the film, which Sarah finds unbelievable, and she probably should. She expresses gratitude and promises not to let him down. However, she is taken aback when he starts inappropriately touching her body. The producer asks her to make this sacrifice for her dreams, but Sarah is disgusted and flees the scene. When she gets home, she goes straight into her room and starts crying. Tracy then comes to check on her and inquires about what happened. Sarah reveals everything to her friend, who assures her that she did the right thing and that everything will be fine. However, deep down, Sarah wonders what could have happened if she had agreed to the producer's demand. The next day, she returns to her former job and pleads with her boss to rehire her. At first, he shows her attitude and lectures on her actions, but he eventually agrees to hire her on the condition that she doesn't repeat the same mistake again. Sarah then resumes working, but she is too miserable throughout the day. After work, she hangs out with her friends and drinks some beers. Danny approaches her, saying he heard about her meeting with the producer from Tracy. He tells her not to feel depressed and assures her that they can achieve their dreams together. Danny then offers her the lead role in the film he's directing, and Sarah accepts without hesitation. She asks him for champagne to celebrate the moment, but Danny says that he doesn't have any. Instead, he gives her LSD and claims that this will be the best night of her life. Nothing helps process meeting Weinstein like tripping balls on acid. Following this, the group has a pool party and starts enjoying themselves. All of a sudden, Sarah notices Erin kissing Danny, which makes her very upset. She then begins to recall the producer's words, wondering if she made the right choice. When Sarah can't take it any longer, she rushes to her room and calls Astraeus' office, claiming that she made a mistake and is willing to do anything for the role. Fortunately, the receptionist gives her a chance and asks her to arrive at the producer's house in an hour. Despite being high from the drugs, Sarah gets ready and goes to meet the producer. Upon arriving, she apologizes to the old man about her behavior last time. She explains that nothing in the world matters to her more than her dreams. To prove herself, she gets down on her knees and begins to pleasure him. As the producer grabs her head, we see that he has the same pentagram mark on his hand. He then announces that she is abandoning her previous life for a completely new one. Moments later, two people dressed entirely in black arrive and observe the situation. It is revealed that they are all members of a cult, and the producer appears to be their leader. The next morning, Sarah wakes up in her bed, feeling terrible with a deep pain in her stomach. Despite this, she decides to go to work. Her boss notices her poor state and asks her to go home, but Sarah becomes angry and slaps him for no reason, resulting in her being fired once again. She then tries calling Astraeus Pictures, but no one responds. Sarah even visits the producer's home, only to find it completely abandoned. The following day, we see her vomiting in the bathroom while bleeding profusely. Tracy becomes worried and asks what happened, as she has been in the bathroom for hours. Sarah eventually comes out, but she appears to be in a really bad mood. She calls Tracy and her friends losers who can't accomplish anything in life. Hearing this, Tracy also gets mad and reminds Sarah how she has been supporting her while she's been chasing her dreams. She points out that Sarah hasn't paid her rent in 2 months and has now even left her job. Following this, Sarah storms into her room and discovers an envelope containing cash from Astraeus Pictures. She throws the money into Tracy's face and returns to her room to rest, but her health deteriorates rapidly and she begins to experience hallucinations of herself being a superstar. In the evening, Sarah's sickness worsens, and when she goes to the bathroom, she notices her hair falling out. Her eyes change color and begin bleeding uncontrollably. To make matters worse, she starts vomiting worms. Ron Weasley's wand must have backfired again. Sarah then tries to call for help by crawling across the floor of her home. Suddenly, she receives a call from the producer. Sarah screams that she is dying and needs his help, but the producer reveals that she's experiencing a transition where she must die to be reborn and attain everything she's ever wanted. In the next scene, Sarah heads to meet her friends and sees Danny and Erin having fun in his van. Erin then goes inside the house to use the bathroom and she follows her. Shortly after, Sarah confronts her in the dark kitchen and begins arguing with her for all of the humiliation she's endured over the years. While they are at it, Erin turns on the light and is shocked to see Sarah's terrible condition audition. She suggests going to the hospital, but Sarah suddenly attacks her and slashes her face with a knife. She then stabs her multiple times in the stomach and leaves. After this, Sarah grabs a dumbbell and enters a bedroom where one of Erin's friends is sleeping. She barbarically strikes her with the dumbbell until her face is completely disfigured. After the girl is dead, Sarah comes across a guy who turns out to have witnessed everything. The guy tries to run away, but Sarah catches up to him and fatally stabs him in the back. Then she turns her attention to Erin, who is still alive and trying to flee. Sarah suffocates her by covering her face with a plastic bag until she eventually dies. Moments later, Danny comes out of his van and notices Sarah sitting alone outside. He is concerned for her because she has been behaving strangely over the past few days. He assures her that if she is going through anything, her friends are here to support her. Unless, of course, you killed them, but you wouldn't do that, right? Sarah responds by saying they are not her friends, and then brutally stabs him. She further claims that she's willing to do anything to be a star, before eventually finishing him off. Since her mission is now complete, a group of people dressed in hoods emerge from the bushes.
We've been waiting here.
They carry Sarah to a location where they bury her alive and mark her grave with a pentagram symbol using lights. Many wealthy-looking people, including the producer, surround her, and they perform a ritual on her. Sarah is seen underground inside a bloodied membrane, as if she is about to be born. The cult members then continue to chant,
"Hail, Astraeus!"
until dawn breaks. The following morning, a hand emerges from the ground, indicating Sarah's rebirth. She comes out from where she was buried, appearing completely different. Though she no longer has any hair, her body is completely healed and perfect. She then discovers that a gift has been left for her, with a note saying, "Happy birthday." Afterward, Sarah heads to her room and lights candles all around before getting into bed. Moments later, Tracy arrives and tries to apologize to her about their earlier fight. When she receives no response, she pulls back the sheets and sees Sarah completely naked, bald, and with different eye colors. Terrified, she tries to leave, but Sarah asks her friend to lie down with her one last time. Tracy obliges and lies in bed, after which Sarah begins to kiss her aggressively. Moments later, she suffocates Tracy and ends up killing her as well. In the final scene, Sarah opens the gift box sent by Astraeus and finds a beautiful black dress along with a wig. There is also a pentagram necklace, which is their cult's symbol. She puts them on and looks in the mirror, proud of the woman she has become. But is she an actress, though? Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.